Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I'm Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services, Dan Ryan.
Shut the fuck up, man. That's not cool.
Dan's neck is all kerfudged, so he can't talk. That means we're delaying the 10, 20, 30, 40 and doing a short one tonight. I hope you like a little rasp in your ears because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now. Hi, everyone. This is episode 559. It's the week of March 28th, 2025, and welcome. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of StoneAgeGamer.com. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world, video games from retro gamers' perspective, as well as whatever the hell else is going on in our lives. We're going to be doing things just a tad different. Like I said, we're delaying a bit just because Dan can't talk. And the 10, 20, 30, 40... I was going to try to find a guest to fill in tonight for the 10, 20, 30, 40, but there's too much PlayStation for Dan to miss it. We're talking God of War. We're talking the launch of the PSP. Like, there's too much important PlayStation stuff for Dan not to talk about it. And me talking about it with anybody else just seems, it felt incorrect. It felt wrong. So, instead... we're just going to do a quick little, just catch up on what's going on with our lives. It's going to be a short episode. Sorry to cost you 3 hours of entertainment this week. We're just gonna We're just going to have to call it a short one because I'm also. I've had a rough couple of days, so. Not nearly as bad as Dan. Obviously, I'm still here, but why don't you go first, and then I'll talk your ear off for a few minutes, and then we'll call it a night.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan. So, yeah, I had just to kind of catch everybody up on where we are. I had my biopsy on Wednesday morning, and it was awesome. I got the call Tuesday night, and they were like, "So, Your appointment time is 6:00 in the morning," and I was like, "Awesome! I'm going to leave now because I know it's only 4:30 the day before, but 6? Are you sure? Because that's kind of fucked up to tell me, like with 12 hours. What? Okay, whatever." So Tiff and I got up at like 5 in the morning, not to work out like Kris does, but to drive to the hospital so they could cut a piece of my neck out. And the surgery part was fine. Everybody was really cool. But one of the things that has me concerned, so I'm not going to get the results for, I don't know if I'll have them by the next time we record. But they went in to take out one node and the surgeon ended up taking out 3. And they were all right next to each other, so I don't know what that means, but I was hoping that he was going to open me up and be like, I mean, I took it, but it didn't look like anything, I couldn't see anything. Instead, he took out 3. So maybe that's bad, maybe it's not. I don't know. We'll kind of find out here in a couple
maybe
weeks.
Maybe he opened you up and looked at it and said, well, these are fucking great. I may as well take them all.
These are awesome.
These are great. We're going to show these. We're going to show these to students. Be like, this is what you're looking for.
This is what you want. You want
and
nodes
there's a
that
cluster
look
of 3.
Just like this.
We can do 3 classes at a time.
100%. Yes.
Well, 2. We'll send one to the Smithsonian, and the other 2 will just be for teaching students. I mean,
100%. Either that, or maybe they were kernels of corn, and he was like, "Oh, those aren't supposed to be there. Let me get those out." That's fucking weird. I don't know why they're in there. Let me get them real quick.
Are you sure it was a doctor and not just some weirdo who collects nodes?
I don't know. Actually, I was asleep.
Son of a bitch.
I was
never
very
let him
much
put you
out.
under, Dan.
No, I
never let him put you under.
This time I didn't even make it back into the operating room still awake. I was out as soon as they started wheeling me. The nurse came in and she was like, "I'm going to give you the little cocktail and it's going to put you out." And I was like, "Oh, that's And then I woke up like 2 hours later in the recovery room. It's like,
Fantastic.
holy shit, man. So anyway, the main reason that my throat's all fucked up, though, is that they put the breathing tube down your throat, obviously, so that you can breathe during surgery, which is great and, you know, beneficial, and I love all that. But it has done a number on my throat. And this is what I sound like. And I sounded like I woke up this morning. Like yesterday, it wasn't nearly as bad. I was still like clearing my throat a lot because, you know, I could feel something. But then by the time I woke up this morning, which is a lot of times how it goes, it's like a day or two later that your voice just disappears. So cool. That's where I'm at. I can't fucking talk. For like, this is a miracle that I've gotten 5 minutes in.
I mean, really, we're just going to hold out as long as we can until you. The point is to hurt you. Like that's what we're here for.
Okay, then mission accomplished. This is great. This is going very, very well. But no, I really just wanted to. Whether you're going to record a full episode tonight or not, I really just wanted to pop in here and give everybody, you know, an update. Like I said, I won't know definitively. I'm not happy that they took out, you know, 3 nodes. I don't know. I don't know what that means. So, you know, hopefully I'll have some news next week, and it'll be positive news, or not. I don't know. We're just going to take it. I mean, either way, it's going to be okay. You know, like it's going to suck. And if I got to go miss 3 weeks of work, that's going to be real fucking bad. But we'll figure that part out too. You know, we'll figure that part out too. So that's where we are. I love y'all. And now I'm going to shut up.
All right. Well, that sucks. But obviously, we're here for whatever we can do. Let's see. So, speaking of hospitals, remember when I said I went to the ER for my head?
Yeah.
And I got my I got my bill.
Oh.
I could not stop laughing. So, I was there for. I want to say I was at the building for maybe a total of 45 minutes.
Ooh,
I spoke to somebody. I actually interacted with with a doctor related person, probably at most if I'm being generous, a total of 5 minutes. The bill came to $2,800.
I love this country so much.
My insurance covered $500 though, so it's really, you know, just a skosh over $2,000 for.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. You got that laying around.
And I really wanted to. Part of me wants to call and find out. Like, could you maybe break this down for me? Because I didn't show up in an ambulance. I wasn't beating down the door. I wasn't like, you know. This is real important. I mean, I was there because it's my head. I need that to live, and I couldn't explain what was going on. It was either that or stay home and freak myself out more than I was. There was no urgency on anyone's part, honestly. But the only item on the list was like, you know, high priority. Speedy something or other, like something that I can't find where it is now. It's on some Cigna website that I have to put in passwords and shit to get to. But it was like the only thing on there was that, and that was the entire cost. And I was like, bull fucking shit. I wasn't in some. There weren't gunshot wounds walking past me. I was in this cozy little booth, and there's nothing going on. This is nonsense.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
This is
why people don't go to the doctor.
Yeah,
and we just end up getting sicker and sicker.
Exactly. I did not want to go to the emergency room, but then I knew we had insurance, and I was like, well, let's be reasonable here. If I'm not taking an ambulance, how bad is it really going to be?
$2,000 bad.
$2,000 bad, yeah. Good times. So, I mean, I don't know what they think they're getting over. Like, I don't have that. So, good luck.
No. Yeah.
What are you going to do? Ruin my credit? Oh, no.
Oh, no. How dare you?
Oh, good times. So, I did have another fun adventure that I'd like to tell you about.
Okay.
Speaking of thousands of dollars, I had this... I made a terrible mistake with my refrigerator a long time ago. The filters were super expensive, and so I bought a cheaper filter.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and so it got to the point where, you know, I've been trying to figure out how to like band-aid the bullet hole on that for a good long while, and it's just not happening anymore. Or at least it wasn't before, and I was like, all right, it's finally time to call a repair person and have them come out and see what's cooking. So the guy comes out and he like removes this ice thing, and he's like, look, just get the official Frigidaire filter, put that in there, and it's gonna, they should fix your problem. So I drive out to this store because he said you have to drive to a store to get one. You can't even trust the ones you buy online, because what we learned in our school is that people, like third-party companies, will buy the boxes, fill them with cheap ones, and that, like, so if you buy something off Amazon, it could say it's an official Frigidaire, but then you get it and it's full of cardboard or cat litter or something. Because awesome. It's fucking fantastic. So I drove to a store and I got this filter for $50 goddamn dollars. It was on sale. Jesus. They're usually like $70 for a filter. I'm like, okay,
holy shit,
all right. Whatever. So I go home, I put the filter into the fridge, and it fixes absolutely nothing. So I call the guy back, and he's like, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I was hoping that was going to fix it, because he showed up, he took apart a couple of things, now, which was fun, because I took apart my fridge to a pretty significant degree. I took it apart over the weekend, like, to the extent that I was comfortable, right? I'm taking off doors, I'm removing some panels and things, and I'm like, I have now reached the point where I'm not confident enough that I'm not going to break it more. So I stopped. I put it all back together. But I learned a lot about taking apart the fridge, which was pretty cool. And the guy was, showing me what he was doing the whole time. And so I can continue to Band-Aid the bullet hole. Like, as far as because it stopped making ice. There was so much ice. What happened was it made the water flow inside of the fridge so low pressure that it wasn't moving fast enough to not freeze inside of like the pipes and stuff. So now I know how to access that one pipe that I couldn't get to, and so I can continue to do that ad nauseum. But even that visit cost like $120. So he came back, and he was like, "Yeah, this is what I was afraid was that something came out of that cheap ass filter you bought, and it ruined that this piece of the fridge, which is what I had said on the podcast ages ago. Probably is what happened." Yeah. So he confirmed that, and then he was like, "All right." So normally, what I'd do is I would order the part, and then we would just replace that part and call it a day. But I am not touching any more. I'm not touching this water line. I can't do this. I refuse to do it until you replace this water line. So he shows me the water line, and he's like, you see this brown water line? It's supposed to be clear, and it's not, because something is terribly wrong somewhere in there. And we go down to the basement, and he looks at it, and like, it's another one of those, the guy who owned the house before me thought he could fix it himself kind of situations. And like, just there's these I wish I remember what they were called. I know people who work in plumbing are probably listening to this being like, exactly what you're talking about. But they're these kinds of like pinchy valve things that aren't even legal in New Jersey anymore. There's like a couple of those, and he was like, look, you need to call a plumber to do, because I'm not a plumber, I'm a fridge guy. You call a plumber, and if you get the water line fixed, I can fix your fridge. But there's too much of a possibility that I touch the fridge and your pipes just explode at this point. So I'm not touching it. I'm like, all right, cool. So I call up this plumber guy that I trust. He was the one who helped me with the sink a while back. And the reason I trust him is because when he was here, he was like, he was told me what he was going to do. And I was like, I could probably do that, right? He was like, yes, you could. And then he taught me how to do it, so he didn't charge me for it. It's like, look, if I touch this and do it, I got to charge you for it. But I can just tell you what to do. You can do it, and I can be along my way. So, like, all right, I trust this guy. He's actively talking himself out of my money. I trust this guy. He also, really liked the basement. But anyways, so he takes a look down there and he's like writing all this stuff on the clipboard. He's like, look, here's what I'm going to need to do. It involves, cutting things and replacing things and whatnot. And he's like, this is going to cost about $1,000. And I was like, well, that's not good. And he's like, look, yes, that's not good. But here's the thing. The fridge guy's not entirely wrong, but chances are you're not going to need to do anything to this until it's a problem. Like, it's not a problem right now. You've got no leaks going on. This is technically fine. Right. So this is not a rush. If you can make your fridge do what you need it to do, I say save the money. And like he's not wrong. So as much as I'd like to chuck $1,000 at the fixing the fridge situation, I don't have $1,000 to throw. I really don't. No, we don't know what's going on with Karen's job. Like, are they going to shut down her department of the FAA? Like, we don't know. She could be out of work tomorrow. Who knows? We don't know. Yeah. So we're kind of not spending lots of money on things that don't absolutely need to have a bunch of money spent on. So. But then he asked, this made my day. He asked if he could just look around the basement for a while before he left. He was like, do you mind if I just look around? And I was like, no, dude, I built this is what I do. I wander around my basement and look at my museum. And then he just started asking me questions about Atari games and he was awesome. Like, I remember when I was a kid, there was like, I felt like I read somewhere that there was a special Sears version. Do you know about this? And I would go in my closet and I pull out the Telegames 2600. He's like, that's the one. Oh my God. We're talking about the game boxes and stuff. And so that was super
that's
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That kind of made my day. And that's really, I mean, I just haven't been sleeping for the last couple of days, but I did after last weekend, after we recorded last week, I was having just having kind of a stressful couple of days. And, I decided to go to the gym on Sunday morning, not like super early, just like, there's something about, I was flirting with the idea of going 5 days, and the days that I don't do my regular, like, full-on workout, just go and walk for 20 minutes on the treadmill and then sit and sweat in the sauna. And so I decided to try that on Sunday, and I did. And today was my 6th day in a row going to the gym. I will be taking the weekend off, but I survived it. I'm the 5 days I think I can handle doing the 5 days with the 2 days of just walking and sweating. And those days have been just better with being, doing that. I just need to get better at sleeping. Something is again waking me up around like 3 a.m, and then I'm having a hard time getting back to sleep. I even took melatonin last night, and it didn't last the night. I was just right back and half asleep until 5 when I got out the door and went to the gym. But I did survive. I did the thing. I'm
That's
proud
awesome.
of myself. Yeah. Now we're just in the holding pattern for Switch 2. See, that's the other thing that's coming up. That we were going to need to move around our recording schedule anyways, because something tells me that there's going to be a lot to talk about after the April 2nd thing. So, like, next week we'll do the 10, 20, 30, 40, but we might need to push the Alphabet Super Series back, or the Cartoon Express back, because like, week old news is probably going to be like an hour long, depending on how much they show on the Switch 2 thing. So, so that'll be fun. I'm excited, but there was nothing like week old news was just a bunch of fucking nonsense this week. There was absolutely nothing. There was like really like, we got to talk about this. Is going to be a real interesting thing to talk about this week. There just wasn't anything. And the only games I've been playing I've been hammering down real hard on Be Brave Barb because I got assigned to review it. So, that's pretty much everything.
All right. Well, that's the shortest episode ever. Sorry,
just
guys.
About. Well, we did do that one, like, it didn't count as an episode, but there was that one, like, sort of promo that we did because we went and did the trivia episode at, what was that, South Jersey Geek Fest, but the audio didn't work out, so we just like came in like, I'm sorry, this was not an episode. The end.
Yeah. Our bad.
That's about it. Our bad. Look, we've been doing this for a freaking decade, and We've just hit the 20-minute mark. That's going to be about what we've got in our tank for today. So, big apologies to everybody for the short episode this week, but it is hopefully by next week Dan will be able to talk, and we'll both be significantly more well rested than we are, and we can get right back to business because we got a couple of big fun topics to talk about over the next couple of weeks.
I'm excited.
Yeah, between Switch 2 and this big ass PlayStation anniversary 10, 20, 30, 40, we're in solid shape. So go play some of the original PS2 God of War. That game's a fucking masterpiece.
It really is.
And
it really is.
So I'll just wrap us up. I'll say that for at least we've still got time on this one. So a reminder to podcast listeners, there's a coupon code RUSH, like in Mega Man's dog, RUSH. $5 off orders of $30 and more. It's valid till March 31st. March 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Limit one use per customer. $30 threshold is based on order subtotal. Does not include shipping and taxes. Cannot be combined with other coupon codes, and it does not apply to pre-ordered items. So that's a thing. Stick with that and let our bosses know that you listen to the podcast, and we'll occasionally buy things. And Ryan did actually listen to the show. He listened to the the listener mail episode.
Oh God!
Because he was asking me if we were on Spotify, and I was like, "Yeah, we're on Spotify." And then he listened to that episode, and he said it would turn into a hardcore sex podcast real quick. It's like clearly you don't listen to the show that often.
Yeah, you don't listen very much, do you? That's kind of every week.
But I told him that you have a running gag about him and yachts, and
that's right.
Anyways, so that's pretty much going to wrap us up. Join us next time for the March 10, 20, 30, 40. We will be talking about some pretty big, fat, exciting games that came out. Like it's a weird 10. I put together all the notes today because I wasn't sure if we were. That's how I figured out. It was like, all right, we can't do this because there's. Super Nintendo and Genesis were fucking sad this month. They're fucking sad. So yeah, that to look forward to. But the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, PS2 definitely takes it away with God of War would put anything over the top. But everybody had some bangers that in that generation. What's that? The 20 big one. So that'll be fun. Anyways, we're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes. You'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ali. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. We'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. And that's it. I'm not even sure I'm going to put a number on this episode. I know I said it at the top, but it's been, half an hour tops? So, we'll see. Anyway, on behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.